How's it going, guys? It's Jose back again with another video on Hear Me Raw, and I'm going to talk about the gay agenda. This thing always comes up. I don't know why it comes up so often. Like, I don't look for it. It's just like people are posting things. So someone posted on Facebook talking about like their teenager just came to her and said that she's going by she and her pronouns, and that her friend is a they them, and she's confused. And the comment section is crazy. People are just like, one person was like, off with her head. That's what they posted. They posted a meme that says off with her head. So someone's asking a question about their child. Someone's worried about their child, and then you want to say off with her head. Like, people joke, with violence. They make violent jokes towards children, and this is alarming to me. Like, I don't get it. I really don't get it. People make jokes about beating kids online and all this stuff. Like, I'm just like, damn, what's wrong with people? But when I grew up in this world, and as a child I was hit a lot, not only by parents but by school teachers too. I grew up in Haiti. Things are a little bit different there. I don't know what it's like right now, but when I grew up, anywhere I went, there was a chance that if I didn't do things the right way, that I would get hit. And that kind of trauma stays with you. So imagine me living my life now, doing my best to live my truth, a truth that would not have been possible back then. I knew at a very early age that any type of femininity that came out of me would get me in trouble. So I hid it. I hid it for a long time. Of course I would hide it. I was a little kid. I couldn't defend myself. I couldn't speak up for myself. I had to do so much work in order to speak up for myself. That's why this page is still called Heal Me Rock. I'm still working on speaking up, speaking my truth, speaking my truth on the things that I love. And I love a lot of things. I do find this world really beautiful. And I just see that we have a lot of things, that make the world dangerous for no reason, and if we can educate ourselves, like Consciously says, education is elevation. Two people that I really love right now, Consciously and Intellectual Media, powerful people. These are like the only two people that I've spoken on every topic that I've brought up, like legit every topic, and really trying to be like a all around, actual justice warrior, because there's a lot of justice warriors that still pick a side, and one side has to win over the other. I'm trying to make it so that everybody wins, and so far it seems like doing that strategy, it's like you're bound to lose. But it's possible, because two realities can exist. Two opposite realities can totally exist in this world. So we do have to look at the bigger picture. But back to the matter at hand, why these jokes towards children, these like, it saddens me, and I want to bring something up. I'm gonna have to upload this in another video. Maybe I'll do like a short about it. But it was Dave Chappell, when he was making his jokes about Michael Jackson, and this is a grown man, like in a room full of grown adults, and he's making this joke. And when he's doing the joke, I'm just like, how did he even think about that? Why did his mind go there? It seemed rather depraved, in my opinion. And you could tell when he made the joke that he wasn't getting a lot of laughter. It was more so like the people in the room were so uncomfortable, they felt like they had to laugh. I feel like that's what happens in places like that. But he was making a joke about a grown man, sucking a little boy's penis, right? He was making a joke about a grown man sucking a little boy's penis. And like, I'm just like, wow, he really just did that. And the joke said something like, oh, like, why is the kid getting mad for? Like, the joke was that Michael Jackson was a good host. Like, you go over, there's, there's roller coasters or whatever, there's tea, there's playroom, you get all this, and you get your dick sucked. And man, this video is definitely not gonna get monetized. And I'm just like, he's in a room full of grown adults making a joke about an adult sucking off a little child. And I'm just like, that's not funny. Like, that's not funny at all. At all. It is not funny. And he's out here just saying whatever he needs to say. And then there's another video I gotta show too. It's like, there was another, I think it's the writer for BoJack Horseman. And you know how Netflix, when it came to Dave Chappelle, they said like they don't have control over what, their creators say. But they actually had BoJack Horseman, they had him, the writer, they had him take a joke out because it was gonna offend this white dude. So one white dude's feelings was important enough to have him take his joke out, but a whole community of people with hurt feelings can't do anything about Dave Chappelle saying lies, like comparing trans women to blackface. Blackface was to ridicule black people, was to make fun of black people. I don't think someone that hates women is going to, you know, go into like a man that hates women is gonna go in transition and get boobs and do all that stuff. They're not gonna do all that because they hate women. That doesn't even make sense. So like when I bring up Dave Chappelle, people are saying stop hating and all this stuff, but I'm not hating. I want him to do better. I want him to do better jokes because the jokes that he's doing right now, they don't make sense. At least have your jokes make sense. Have your jokes be so that they can be educational. Because if they're not educational in that way, especially with when you're talking about trans people, you're putting people's lives in danger. 2021 is the deadliest year on record for non-binary and trans individuals, and we still have 1 month left. You know, we still have December to finish off, and he's not stopping. He's still, nothing has been done about his thing. People are still defending him, and anybody who has any lick of sense, any type of critical thinking that brings up these topics, they get washed away by his stands. Or he's just like, you know, he says, oh, people are trying to cancel. He's using cancel culture in order to get more views, and people are doing this. Like even the baby is doing it, you know. Unfortunately, he was one of my favorite artists, and despite all the stuff that he's done, like, yeah, I said it, like, you know, it's really hard to listen to rap nowadays because a lot of these rappers are doing crazy things off the scene. And now in the age of social media, we can see what they're doing. It's right in front of us. So it's like, how do I? People are always saying separate the artist from the art, but like one thing is like they don't apologize when they mess up. There's no change in behavior. So how can I ignore this? How can I ignore this? And if this is the energy that they have, and this is the energy that's going into their art, how can I ignore this? Chris Brown, after beating up Rihanna, he never really apologized, at least not that I know of, and he has had other things happen since then, and he's said some nasty things about, oh, you know, fat people, and it's just like, how do I separate the art from the artist? Like when these things stuff continues, I can't help but think about it whenever the music comes up. So, but yeah, like it's crazy. How is a grown man gonna be making a joke about a little boy getting molested, and then people laugh like there, I feel like there have to be some things, there has to be some jokes that are off limits because people are hurting out here. It's clear that people are hurting out here. People are calling people too sensitive. Well, maybe the world wasn't sensitive back then enough because a lot of things were getting thrown under the rug. People were accepting a lot of things that we don't want to accept anymore. Things have to change. So heck yes, let's be sensitive. Let's be mindful of what we say. If you've done any type of spiritual work at all, you know that our bodies are made up mostly of water, and water holds vibration. So if you're hearing a lot of negative things, you're hearing that. I did 2 years not listening to like mainstream music and just like really meditating, spending a lot of time in nature, and that's why I am the way that I am. I got away, you know, and there's ways to get away while you're still in Babylon. You know, I'm doing it now. I still have my time to myself. I have my yoga practice. You know, I have my exercise that I do. I have my dancing, and I have my friends. I have my beautiful, beautiful friends. They might not be like physical here with me, but you know, we catch up with each other. We share what we're going in our journeys. We see all the synchronicities. We see all the patterns that we're going through, and you know, we stand for each other, and we stand for a world where different people can coexist, where people can really be themselves, and it can be more a world filled with love and compassion. So we are doing that together. I see that happening. That's what keeps me going. Yes, there's a lot of corruption, a lot of hate in this world, a lot of racist, homophobic people online and everything like that, but the people that I rate, I resonate with, that I'm in the circles with, that I'm talking with, that are finding me and saying things, saying beautiful things, I'm like, yes, I'm glad that you're here because you're giving me hope. The people that I talk to on a day-to-day basis, my customers at my job, the magic that I'm able to circulate, the energy, was wherever I go, my energy goes and it follows me, you know, and the angel numbers, you know, they give me hope. So I hope that you find something in this world to keep you hopeful. Like even if you find all this crazy stuff out there, I hope you find something that keeps you hopeful, that gives you hope, whatever it may be. For me, like I said, it's astrology, numerology, it's the people, it's love, it's my expression, you know, it's God, it's nature, it's you. I love you. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and follow me in my social media links, and keep up with me. Ask me questions in the comment section below. Let me know what videos you'd like me to speak on, because what I'm talking about is I think it's a very hot topic, and right now people are just really wanting to just push it away. And the same, you know, too, I think the kids are gonna be more open to this because they just came out, you know, they just came out from source. You know, a lot of adults haven't been to source yet. They're always busy. They don't take that time to dial in, to tune in, you know. if they do, their soul would still feel so young and lively. They'd be like, oh wow, these kids are doing things that we couldn't do back then. Like, back then if I were dressed, I would have went put a gel, but these kids are doing it now. They're not scared. Like, it's a beautiful thing, I think. So, like, try not to get caught up in the trap of, like, as you get older your mind closes, because if you do that, that's gonna be your fault. I see a lot of the older generation now, like, they can't learn anything, and they have no patience to learn anything, and that's sad. I don't want to be that way. I told my coworker, if we're still in each other's lives when we're older, and you ever hear me make an excuse and tie it to my age, like I can't learn something because I'm old, I told him to slap me, remind me that I told him he was to slap me, because I don't want to use that excuse. Keep learning. The day you stop learning is the day that you die. So these parents that are saying, yeah, in the comment section, people were just like, off with her head. Someone said, don't pay attention to that nonsense. Don't give any attention to it. Just ignore her. But doing that could hurt that girl. Like, if my immediate family had, like, accepted me from me coming out, like, if they had done that, oh my goodness, like, my life would have been so much easier. Like, the anxiety, the depression, everything that I had to go through. I grew up in the church, so coming out as bisexual, like, I thought that God didn't love me anymore. I thought that my family didn't love me anymore. Nobody was really coming to me and telling me things or encouraging me. Only my friends that I made on social media had my back. Even my immediate partner really didn't believe me initially. I practically had to convince her. And that was crazy. And freaking Google came out with a glossary for the LGBTQ community and totally left out bisexual. It left out bisexual and pansexual. It's like, that's an agenda. Like, there's an agenda to erase people. It's been started since colonization, and right now they got people in every culture being complacent in erasing people, erasing their own people, erasing their own traditions. Because in every tradition you can think of all around the world, there were people, like, there were two-spirited people. There were people that had two genders. There was some people had a third gender. Like, this is in our history, but the colonizers wanted to erase it. So we have to fight for ourselves, and we need you to fight for us too. But not, and when you're fighting for us, you're not fighting just for us. You're fighting for yourself. You're fighting for the right to be. What if one day you want to express yourself in a way that's not heteronormative, huh? And don't you want somebody to have your back? We are going to be the ones that have your back. Pride was started by a black trans woman, and she was a sex worker. And these are people, like I said, black woman, transgender, sex worker. These are three people in the world that are so demonized that it's not even funny. So many people watch porn, but they hate sex workers. Not that they hate sex workers, but they don't think sex workers deserve money. They don't think sex workers deserve protection. They'll praise these politicians, these corrupt politicians that sometimes sleep with these sex workers, but these politicians have protection where the sex workers don't. Like, there were posts about, like, how, when they talk about sex work, like, how more women are getting into sex work. It's like people are saying, oh, I don't want a daughter. Please, God, don't give me a daughter. I'm like, yo, why are you hating on the women? Why don't you hate on the men that pay for that sex or pay for the content? Why don't you hate on the men that sleep around so much? Like, it doesn't make sense. So this is what this page is here for. None of that nonsense. And the stuff that I talk about most likely is not going to get monetized. So in the description, Patreon, join my Patreon, and I'll be talking about more topics on here. Some that will not come on here, I will talk about it on Patreon, and there'll be more content there as well. And just to support me, because again, like I said, there's homophobic stuff all over YouTube and it's still monetized. But if I'm gonna be speaking against the homophobia and things like that, it's not gonna be monetized, because I'm gonna have to bring up some dark things. I'm gonna have to bring up some very sensitive things. So I'm gonna need your help. I'm gonna need your support. Let's do this together. I love you. See you on the next one.